So, welcome back to another trip to Bishop Canyon. No, I don't live in Bishop. It's actually like 5 hours away, but Bishop is a pretty good bouncing off point to a whole bunch of different areas. That, and I actually like Shat's bread a lot, so that's why I always go to Bishop. So, this trip is going to be up to Spearhead Lake, and it's basically the lake that's just above Long Lake. And I've always wanted to go there and just never really made it out there. It's also another trip where I'm testing out new gear. I got a new tent, so I wanted to kind of break it in before I use it on my long trip at the end of the month. So there's the new tent. You can see it's a Zpacks Cuban fiber tent. It worked pretty well, but still got to get used to pitching it since it's a non-freestanding tent, and it's also a single wall tent. So here I start out pretty much at the outlet of the lake, kind of like the connector between Long Lake and Spearhead. And I really actually didn't have to move too much because there were a ton of fish at this point. I also noticed they were all rainbows stacked up here, and you'll see in the picture coming up that they're pretty bright. So they're either about to spawn or post spawn, or maybe they're spawning. But given that there's a chance they were spawning, I think after this fish I decided to just move on to the main body of the lake. I didn't see any reds in this section I was fishing, but again, it seemed a little unusual there were that many fish in this one area. This was actually as bad as the wind got, which is not that bad, so this was actually a great weekend up in the mountains. So here I think I went to a dry dropper. The first three fish that you saw were using a dry fly. I think I stopped filming after this point just because I figured you guys had seen enough of this one section of the lake. I did catch more though. But later on at night, I couldn't sleep. I usually can't sleep in a tent, so around 3 a.m. I got up and took some galaxy pictures. First one was with an Olympus, this one's with an iPhone. You could probably tell the difference, but I thought the iPhone was pretty impressive given it's a handheld cell phone. So next morning, I decided to try mixing it up. I'm using streamers this time. I think streamer fishing is my most favorite type of fly fishing, just because when you pull and they pull back, you get that little extra shock. So this is the last fish that I'm going to show from the campsite. I did come back after I packed up the tent to fish a little bit more, but the streamer bite had died down by then. I think I did start catching them again with some dry flies, but it's probably not worth showing. So my plan was to wear my 30-pound pack and just fish while I was hiking along Long Lake. For the most part, I did end up doing that, but by the time I got back, I think that was probably the wrong decision since I was pretty beat. Oh, here you'll see my shoes and my socks all laid out, and that's because I dropped my fly box in that ledge in the water, so I had to jump in and grab it. Luckily, the ledge was there, or else it would have been a sad day. Also, you can see I'm using an indicator rig here just because it was pretty deep, and I thought this would be the best way to tease something out from the depths. Oh, I figured you guys were tired of seeing my drawing feet. This one was actually pretty cool just because right after my indicator landed and the fly was going down, you can see that one brookie just come up and slam it. Fishing was actually pretty slow after those fish, so I started changing flies, trying streamers, and eventually I landed on a size 16 Alcaracatus, I think, and that ended up being the magic fly. From this point on, if I saw a fish and was able to get my fly in front of it, usually it made a move for it. And that's the cool thing about Long Lake. The water's so clean that you can pretty much sight fish, and if you track them and see them swimming in a direction, you just got to put your fly maybe a couple feet in front of it, and if it wants it, it'll go and take it. So this was the last stop before I ended up just packing my rod because I was getting tired of, I guess, fishing and hiking. Oh, this last fish actually ended up being probably the one with the most fight in it. And again, it was sight fished. I saw it in the corner of my eye and I cast towards it. And sure enough, it went up and took my fly. Actually, I think the wind started picking up too after this point, and with these lakes, if you're trying to sight fish, once the wind starts gusting, it'll pretty much white cap the lake and you'll lose visibility of the cruising fish. Thanks for watching, and if you actually made it this far, extra thanks. I may make one more backpacking trip before my next long one, which should be a good one, but if I don't, see you guys in a month.